Shushruth, did you face any problem while writing this class, or?
I think I faced minor spelling mistakes. That's it.
Okay, you got the concept of that. Yesterday, Mar was asking about the classes, like because this is a huge concept. Whether Shushruth got this concept or not, he was asking me.
Oh yeah,
So,
Dad was there when I was doing it.
oh.
Hi, Srinivas.
Hi, Mar.
Hey, how's it going? Okay. Did you start recording?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Mar, yesterday I have explained about the class and how to create a class and methods inside that class. And, what are the different access modifiers we can specify for the variables, uh, like private, protected, and public, so that the variables and methods will be available for the subclasses. Um, and we have created a child class which extends the parent class, and we called parent class method using the child class object, and we created one interface, a class which implements the interface and implements that does not have any body, the methods, and we implemented that method and we call that method using subclass objects. And even Shushruth practiced the similar way. Even I explained in our
So basically, in this concept comes into object-oriented programming. So what it means is every real-time world object. Okay, for example, you're talking about a bottle. Bottle is an object. Bottle has its own characteristics. The size of a bottle, weight of a bottle, color of a bottle, and all these things. So in order to represent any object, okay, we represent that in a class. Okay, so for example, class has the bottle class has a size and everything, right? So to represent anything in this world, when you're programming, you have to represent it in a object. But the object in a programming is called as a class. Okay, so here you're talking about a person or a student or any object, right? So then you're defining that object, and after defining, you're doing some operations for that object, right? Like for example, finding out his marks, finding out his name, and all these things. Those are all the functions that you write in the class. Okay, and that in turn you create an object from a class. That is what he is doing here. If you go down, um, Srinivas, can you go down little? Okay, here the homework, right? The main object is an object. It is created from a class. So then you operate with an object. Clear? Yeah, go ahead, Srinivas.
And similarly, we have created interface. Interface is nothing but a skeleton of the methods which does not have any body. Like we simply specify with the semicolon, and whichever class which is going to implement these interfaces, they have to implement the methods. Like to support multiple inheritance, actually the concept, these interface come into picture. In inheritance is nothing but a inheriting the parent class features into the subclass. Subclasses is nothing but a inheritance. Sometimes inheritance is not possible with multiple classes. That's why they have introduced a concept called interface. Interface is nothing but just simply declare the variables and declare the methods. All the variables which are declared here, they have to initialize and they have to implement the methods and use those methods similar way which we have used in the classes. But mostly in Angular we go with the classes. By default it will create the classes for us. So we go with classes. Rarely we use interfaces in Angular.
Got it? Okay.
Yeah. So in Angular, right, as we discussed yesterday, if you create any component, it creates 4 files. If you take this practice component, it created 4 files for us. One is CSS file, HTML, and the TS TypeScript file, and the spec file. So if you see this spec TS file, the TypeScript business logic file, it created one class for us, and which is implemented using onInit. This is Angular lifecycle class, and it has one method, ng onInit. If we remove this, it will throw some error message saying we have to implement unimplemented methods which is present in this interface. That is ng onInit. We have to declare. Either we can directly create that method, or if you go and click on quick fix, it will create a method for us, ng onInit. So that means we have implemented their interface method component. Actually, by default, when we create a component, by default it will automatically comes. If somehow if we delete or something, it will throw us some error message saying the method is not implemented. Then even if I create one more component, nggc. Nggc is the shortcut form for the ng generate. C means component, and here I'll show demo one component I'm going to create. Oh, already fixed.
Already there is a demo one component.
Yeah, I'll show you demo class one. Yeah, it created demo class.
Right.
If you open this, this is a bare minimum file which is created. It implemented the interface. Sometimes if we don't want to initialize any of the variables or anything, we can simply remove this interface. Even it works. Some in real-time scenario, what happens is whenever this component is loaded, I want to initialize some parameters like default values for some of the variables which I used in this HTML file. For that, we use this method. If I don't want to use, if I don't want to initialize any of the variables in this class, I can simply remove this. It is not a mandatory to implement this onInit interface. So now, as we discussed previously, index.html is the starting point for the actual Angular page which is going to load. And if we go to this selector which we have, which is created by default. It is present in app component.ts file. It is the app root. Oh, I think you modified this from index.html file. By default, it is app component. Actually, this file, right? We cannot touch this file because it is by default loading the app root component, that is app component.ts file. So in this HTML file, we can write our own components. We can include, or we can write our UI rendering page here, and it will be loaded using this index.html selector, that is app root. I'll show you how to include our custom components which we have created here into our application. So first I'll start the application. So by reading this tag, it will check the component. App component has this selector, so it loads this component, and which has this HTML file. So I come and open that, localhost 4200. So if you see, it loaded this class, this HTML file. It has one button, and does it work? These like this HTML is printed here, and if you see here, it is another HTML tag, but it is a custom tag like app practice. So that component we have created, and we have used that component here, and Angular will search for this selector in this all the components, and wherever it finds, it will load that. Suppose I'll show you that. So it will come here in practice.component. Practice.component has the selector app practice. So it will load this practice.component HTML into the app component.html. Wherever we have used this selector, it will render that page, and we can use multiple times. So initially we have used only once, and it rendered our component here. So if I want to, in some other cases, I want to use the same component, I can simply use these tags. It will render the component again. So if I come here, it will print 3 times. So that means if it this logic, whatever we have written here, we started reusing that logic in our application. So if you change one place here, it reflects everywhere in our application. So the business logic is written one place, and which is used by multiple places in our application.
This is a reusable component.
Yeah, this is a reusable component, and most of the cases, suppose if you take one real-time example, like you have a login page, and when we click on login page, we want to show one welcome screen, and the similar kind of login page I want to use whenever we go to admin module or user module or any other module. I want to show this login page. I'll create a login page only once, and I'll reuse wherever I want. For admin, I can simply use the same login page, and for the normal user, I can use same. It is basically splitting of entire application into modules, and that module can be reused multiple times. So that's why they come up with the modularized, like component based approach. And you can ask me one question like, why can't we go with the single page application? Whatever app component.html, right? I can come here and I can write entire logic here. I can write and it works fine. But whenever a newcomer comes or anyone wants to change some of the lines here, it is very difficult to understand the logic inside a single page. And if we create multiple components, and we can easily identify where exactly the problem is coming and go and change the component here, and it is very easy to change here and test that application instead of changing in the actual like thousand lines of code. It is easy to change and test this application, test this component individually. And I'll show you one more thing. Like if you see here, I have written two braces and the variable. So if we specify like this within the two braces, that means this is the variable which is defined in my business logic, like in my app component.js, and I have initialized using some text or some variable here. So I want to replace the value of ABC from my TypeScript file. So if you see here, I have created a variable title sample app, and if I change the ABC to title, it will print as the title value which is present in the TypeScript. It is a data binding concept. If you see here, it shows us the sample app. Actually, in our HTML file, we haven't created the text here. We have written these braces, and we have used this variable. The variable it reads from the sample app as a text sample app, and it will print. Suppose by mistakenly if I specify title 123, which is not available here, and it will simply ignore that value. It will just search for this variable in our TypeScript file, and if it is not present, then it will show some error message saying the variable does not exist here. Okay, this is a data binding approach, and whenever we want to render, like suppose I have a student, I want to display some student details. Yesterday in our previous classes, we have created one object, right? So I'll create a simple object and I'll print the object here. So I'm going to create one student object of type any, and here I'm going to create first name Srinivas, comma, last name Reddy.
So whatever you have been practicing is printing on the console side. Now what Uncle is doing is now using the same information printing on the UI in the web page, right? Now the web page is our HTML as always, okay? And the data that is coming for that web page is coming from the TypeScript, because TypeScript is where you can manipulate the data, okay? And the manipulation can happen using classes, components, objects, and all these things. So whatever you learn is what is going behind the scenes, and what you're printing is going in the HTML. Okay. Yeah.
And sometimes these.
The first Srinivas component tag entadi. What is the first component tag before class?
Which one, ma? This one?
Yeah, the whole component tag, like component selector and everything.
Yeah. This is a selector. If we use this selector in anywhere in our application, it will render the HTML file, HTML associated to this component.
Okay,
So this is
the
the
second line. Which HTML to call for that component tag is in the second line, right?
second, and the styles is the third line.
And where the CSS styles come from, the third line. You
Third
understand,
line.
baby?
Yeah.
So anytime this component is referenced, app root, then it is going to initiate the HTML file in the template URL, and that HTML is going to use the CSS styles from the CSS styles URL. Okay. So
And
that is what you encapsulate in a component tag. So encapsulation is nothing but putting together into one bucket. It's called encapsulation. So this component tag gets encapsulated with these three parameters. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Srinivas. Sorry.
so now I'll come here and I'll print.
Now you can print that student information, that component, that object that he created in TypeScript. And this is the same HTML that is referenced in the TypeScript. So he can directly call those object names here in the HTML.
So if you see, I am printing name,
Equal to
and this is simply HTML because I don't have any braces here. It prints as is, and whenever I use these braces, it will read the value from the TypeScript student object dot name. This name is present in my JavaScript object, so I'll print first name because as name is not present, I'll print first name. First name, I'll check whether it is printing properly. First name is Srinivas, it printed. I'll remove these components for time being. To comment this, just press Control space bar, Control forward slash or backward slash. It will comment all the things, all the selected ones. So now if you see, it is printing in same line. I'll use div tag, so it will print in the next line, actually line by line, or we can use p tag.
Div tag is nothing but like a paragraph tag. Okay, but it's slightly different. You will know the difference later.
And I'll add some class to, I'll associate some class to this. So
any steps that you want to define for that particular division, then you can put it in the CSS.
CSS, I'll go and add this CSS class here, dot student, and color of the text color is some blue, and the background color I'll mention. You can simply, if you miss anything, right, simply type 2 or 3 letters and you can get help from this context menu. Automatically it will come, and if you want to select any of the color from here, it will print this. It will show us some other colors here. So I'll use red color. Here and see it printed.
So that particular div applies everything. So background color is red and the text color is blue, right?
It's blue. And I didn't specify any style here. Because with this, right, I can specify directly here, like using style attribute.
In Java CSS, you can also directly specify the color.
Same colors.
Sorry, Srinivas.
Same the same color here. If you come here, and it will change the color. But the problem with this is, for every tag I have to write this style background color and style color. And if I want to change one place, it is very difficult to modify all the places which are present, which is using these colors. So instead of that, and to maintenance wise also, it is very difficult. That's why we use mostly the classes. And if I use multiple times, so I'm copying this line multiple times and I'll print. So last, and This is marks. Grade. I'll remove this and last name marks. So in this case, I have used same class student CSS class. It is not mandatory use the same name. I can use student 123 and the same class name should be present in the CSS. I can use some junk characters also, but some meaningful characters like student color, some name. It is not mandatory to use same name. If someone comes and see that, so this is used for this student printing of student details. So I will come here and see. It is printed me all the values. Student and last name. There is a problem with the last name. Check that. Last name. My HTML file. Okay. T is missing. Yeah, it printed all the details of mine. So in real-time scenarios, these object, whatever I created in student object, it will come from server using REST APIs. Similar way it will come. We use the object in HTML file, either rendering in the table format or directly we can show a name in a single line, like what is the result of this student. And if you see, if I change anything, any style here, directly it will apply for all the classes which are going to use this. So I'll change this to
Just change anything and automatically changes to everything, right?
I'll use white color so that so it changed everywhere. So if I use internal styles, we have to go and each and every line and print the change the styles of the each and every tag. So and if I add any of the new style for this, like I want to add some border so that it will look fine. So I'll create a border for this, border 1px. This is the syntax for that, solid, and I'll add some color to this.
So border around that with the solid means very straight line, and then the color. Okay.
Instead of solid, we can use different styles. Like if we can specify dotted or something.
Dot. Border.
Yeah, it all the dots.
Dash.
Like you can play with the CSS. It is you can whatever you write, it will reflect and yeah, like this it will print. And if I want to use some different color for different lines, like for marks, if I want to use different class, and for grade I want to use different class, I'll come here and create one more class, student marks. So I'll change this to.
So whatever you write in the style tag, right? You just write by line differently. That's it. That's the only difference here. And you, whatever the name that you're using in front of that is what you will reference in the HTML to get all the properties that you defined in this CSS.
Background color.
Srinivas, the difference between them and us learning is these kids have already been using internet for the whole life. So they have seen the things inside in front of the front view, right? So they can relate easily. Not like us, we didn't even see the internet and we started learning these things.
Right. We learn almost a few years back, Mar, and these kids are learning almost Yes. Even my kid, right, whenever he see this kind of UI, he'll come and check for the inspect element, and he changes these values from here directly.
Yep. See, now everything is here, and you can go and update it, and you can do the same thing for your websites that you're seeing. You can go
Yeah.
there, inspect, and then you can change and see how the color is changing and whatever it is, right?
For any application, if you see any application, everyone is using the CSS classes. Like if I want to check for this background color of this, I can come here and select this. It will show us the color for this. So this one, I'll come here. And if I come here and see, the background color is RGB 0000.
White. Yeah, just change to some number.
This is white color, and the border color is this one. So like that we can change here. Like
Yeah, just change it there, and then you see the difference.
I can. Mar, 1 minute, Mar.
Yeah, yeah. That's how you design your pages.
और एक बार चेक कर दो, 200 करने के बाद चल रहे हैं या Yes, Mark, I'm back.
Yeah.
So,
Go ahead, Srinivas.
so similar way we can check and change the background color. Now I'm going to change this background color of this. Simply write it automatically comes with one element style. Here we can come here and change the background color. Like if you click inside this element style, it will show us one text.
Yeah, editable mode.
So here you can type one letter, it will show us the letter here, like the style. Now I'll change this to background color red. So it automatically changes the background color here for this. So similar way we can play with any website and create our own website. If you refresh again, it will reload all the existing styles. But we can just for UI we can change the CSS.
You can temporarily change for that particular session.
To just see.
Yeah, to see
How
how it looks. And if you want to design similar web pages, you can just try to see, and then you can design similar pages.
Similar. If I want to use the similar background color, we can copy the background color from here, and we can use that. So this is the background color. And for the background colors and colors, right? There are different ways to provide. Like we can directly use the text like white. If I don't want to use white, I can specify 6-digit number like F. So this is white color, and we can find out these codes. It is a every color is split into 3 parts. One is RGB. This is red and green, blue. If you combine, and FF means 255, 255, 255. If it is red 255, max value 255, 0 to 255 we can specify. If we specify 255, 255, 255, it will become white color. If we specify 0, 0, 0, that means this is black color. This is the combination red 0, white 0, and blue 0. and in our application it changes to the black color. There are multiple combinations, like I can specify FF 0000. That means it will take as a red, because red is 255, that means 100%, and the remaining are 0%. Now the color is changed to, save this. I actually printed the text in red color.
So that's why red and red you can't see. Yeah.
And if I specify RG means it will become yellow. And if I specify again another FF, RGB, all are full means it will become white. The combination of three colors. We can create n number of colors using these three combinations. And if you want to change something here, you can directly come here and select the color for this, and I can specify 88 or something. We can say it will change accordingly, so that we
also see what best matches to your screen, right? Your UI, and then you can.
Yeah, every time if we change here and refresh the page, instead we can come here and change the color here and copy this color, the styles from here, and paste it here.
So that it will reflect
the colors we have created.
It's like preview.
Yep. Yeah, it's just like a preview.
Yeah.
For permanent change, you need to copy those whatever that you updated into the original code.
Yeah.
And so for time being, you can ignore this line. Whenever it comes to the event handling, I'll explain you that.
Can you show in a div how to create a table in a div for him, Srinivas?
Yeah. It is easy, Mark. Actually, Shushruth has already created one table. I'll show you. I'll copy the same table and I'll use.
See,
this is the table Shushruth has already created. So now it is coming like this. I'll change. For time being, we'll add the CSS classes for this and for this.
Okay, so you can't go on repeating every. See, this is what Uncle was talking about. See, for every table row you're repeating, for every table data you're repeating, right? Instead, you use a class, and then any single change in one class, there it will reflect everywhere. And you don't even need to write different classes for table rows and table data. You can write single class and reference at the table level. It automatically reflects for table row differently, table data differently, and everything. Okay.
I might have to do an intro to see it.
Yeah.
Now if I check this, so it will show us. We'll add one table.
A simple data. So now he's going to add a class to do the styles to that UI, right? It's a main table. Okay. You're going to use that class main to do all the styles in the CSS.
And we can, instead of writing for each class, writing classes, right? We can directly use for this tr what could be the style. Like we can directly use tr tag. What is the color for this? So I can specify color.
I don't know. Your screen is freezed, Srinivas.
Oh, it is connected.
Yeah, it is disconnected actually. No. Yeah, I'm presenting again.
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
Oh yeah, you need to change the light.
No,
Studio. Yeah.
not dim. It just keeps like going off. Oh, you mean too loose?
I'll comment these 3 lines, the student one, and I'll create the table.
Okay.
So what I did is I created a class,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm using for entire table here,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm using main, and for tr tag, wherever it appears in the table, it takes the class, the styles from here. This is not a class actually. For directly we can give styles for tr tag itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then to every single tag that's
So
TR.
if it is not a class, you can directly give a tag name and give the
But that's only
yes.
for gonna use it once though.
What?
Or else it'll do it for every single TR tag.
Yeah, it will
Yeah,
do
I
it
know.
for this for every single tr tag. Yes, in the whole
Yeah,
page.
Yeah.
even for divs also we can specify like this. For all the divs inside my component, it will use the styles from this div. So if I come here and see that, it will print as the 100 and 200. Now I'll add some here. I'll add uh, this is a header tag. Like I'll create a header tag for th, and inside th td. This is a header tag I am creating. First name, and I'll create another tag. Another td with last name, marks, grade.
Print everything in the table.
Last name.
First name, last name, and last name. So if you have like 10 students, you can just print them.
And I'll do the same thing.
And in actually in real time scenarios, right? If we don't know the class, these header names, we iterate the headers which we get it from the server. Like it will bare minimum skeleton kind of thing. All the values which is present here, it will come from server, and we render the table. I'll show you using for loop how to render these columns. Okay, my TD is ready. I'll unexpected closing tag. Is correct. TH, we have the head.
I don't think you have TD and TH.
It is T head, ma.
T head.
T head. Inside T head, will have TH tags.
Exactly. Table header and TH. Yeah.
Now I I'll change this.
Table header.
Oh, table header.
Yeah.
What then what's table head?
Table head is the overall table head,
Oh.
and single line item header is
Just
every
table
column
head.
is one table head. TH.
Yeah, TR, and TR means table row. Inside the TR row, we'll have multiple TDs.
Row and table data in table header and table H. So that will not be repeated again and again if you have multiple rows. So you'll see like first name, last name, marks, and grade. Okay, but that doesn't have any border and all, so that's why you are not seeing any borders for the table. So can you put border for the table, Srinivas?
Yeah, TH I'm adding border here.
Just the table header is adding border. Okay.
Border 1 to X. Sorry. Actually, I'm selecting some different colors. 0, 0. That means with yellow. Not visible actually. Uh, RGB. I will check for it. Pink. Now, are you able to see the color?
Yeah.
Now TD is done. Now we are going to iterate one row and print the names. Like for first name, we have created already first name, and I'm going to use that. And for
What is
the
that
name,
class in the TD? That class is not there.
actually I have copied from practice.html. Here we have created previously the class.
Oh, okay. Yeah, got it. Okay.
Remove that, and even if you don't specify the class, it will ignore actually. It tries to load. If it is not present, then it will ignore.
Okay.
And I'm printing the
From the object, the values.
values up. And marks, grade. Second row, we don't have multiple rows.
Yeah.
I have created only one row, which is the data. Like this. Means we can add multiple classes for this one, but actually UI. So UI will look like this with the classes and the data which we are getting from server, like the business logic, whatever object we have created here. So this object.
Can you create that object as an array and print it, Srinivas?
Yeah, I'll print that.
So which means like you have 100 students you want to print.
Oh, and then you just do the array. And
That will be an array component, right?
Array starts with the square bracket.
The difference is it will start with the square bracket, not the angular bracket. Okay. So now copy and paste the same multiple times, then that becomes multiple students.
So I copied the same object
Twice. So here we have 2 students.
to student, and I will change to my here 400. So I created. If you come here, it will not show any data.
Because we are not array type component.
This is kind of a array. Now what we need to do is we need to specify the index for that, because as it is array, we can use for loop. I'll show you how to write for loop in our next class. So for time being, just treat this as a one loop, and I'll copy the same thing and I'll paste here, and I'll change this index to 1 as we have 2 students. It printed two objects. So in actual, so just I printed the first row with 0th student detail. 0th student is Srinivas, and the first row first is Ganesh. So first details with this one. So in real scenarios, we iterate this array. Iterate with this array, and we can print n number of rows with these 4 lines. Instead of 0, we specify index, and we iterate using ngFor. And it takes all the values from 0th index, first, second, nth row, and it will print all this here. And if you want to create multiple, you can add multiple rows here and copy these lines and print like that.
But in here, there are only 2 students. In real time, when you're developing an application, you don't know how many students will be there. So that's when the for loops will help you to display by index all the data that is available in the array.
Even for this also, we can use for loop, because we don't know how many columns will be there, and we get these columns also from server, and we iterate these headers also. Like it will be like this t head and one for loop, tr one for loop. It will print all the data as is like this.
Yeah, can you just show that as well, Shino, so that they and no, keep the same everything there and copy it to the bottom the table and use a for loop now, so they know the difference.
What?
For the same values, how you can print the same thing with for loop without having to write these many lines of code. So it says like ng
For I'll check the syntax more once.
Yeah, no worries.
Because mostly we copy.
Copy, paste it while.
Because the syntaxes, right? I mean, that's what, once you start learning bigger things, these are the small things that you don't worry. You just copy and paste.
Let's Google that. The best friend.
So yeah, you'll get help here. Everything.
So this is it. This is the ng for. ng for is nothing but a for loop.
ng for is nothing but a for loop in HTML, in AngularJS. And in other TypeScript, you write a for loop. For ng for is AngularJS for loop. Yeah.
Now I am iterating through for loop like student object. Every student object for it will come here for every iteration. Now what I will do is I will print the student details as the object comes into this item. So I will go and print this item dot first name, item dot last name, item dot marks, and item dot grade.
And now you don't need the second row.
And row I will delete this.
So the top 20 lines of code and this 10 lines of code would do the same thing. And the efficiency is, for the top one, you will have to go on adding the students in the code. But here, if you just add it in the array, it automatically prints n number of rows, 100 rows, whatever, right? So if uncle goes and prints both two tables with the same data. Okay, now if uncle changes the array to add one more student there, the first table will not print it, but the second table will automatically print that also, because it is looping through each object in the array.
So let's keep going.
Yep.
I added two more rows. I'm just adding one next to every value. If I save this, in our UI it prints the first.
Table only printed 2 rows,
Okay.
and this one keeps on going. So this is called dynamic programming. Okay. So dynamically, whatever comes from the server, it prints everything. But that one is a static. You have to specify everything. So for that, the difference is you need to use for loops to navigate through the whole object and print it.
Yes, type ng for let item.
Yes, and item means every student row, it will go into item, and you are printing it. Now again, it will come back to that row. Again, the next item will go into item. Then you are printing that. Got it?
So it is kind of in our for loop we get student of 0, student of 1, student of instead of the accessing that index, the 0th index element entire student object will come into item. It can be any other local variable like student obj, any variable. This is a local variable. I can change these items with the student object. This right side, this should be the
Same as
object, which is present in the app component, the sim component object.
That should be
the student should be the object of that. So it printed the second table with all the data, dynamic data, and first one with the static data. Static means the without for loop. Even this one also we can try to print using headers. I'll try to print that headers also. Here we have created student headers equal to, I can specify
Here specifying the student headers.
and headers. We have 4 rows, 4 headers, so I'm creating 4 variables here. Array. I'll copy these. I'll copy first name. I'm creating one array, string array.
ikkade kinda ఉన్నాయి శ్రీనివాస్, you're going outside.
Sushruta, you try once dynamic thing also, the headers, and check if we face any problems. We'll try tomorrow. And I'll let you know what you need to practice. I'll think and I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Okay, good Srinivas, thank you. Yeah, just send him what needs to be practiced. Okay.
Sure. So
You should be creating some components and then checking it out. Okay.
yeah, sure.
Do you remember the syntaxes for components creation?
What?
Generate component, ng-gc.
What?
ng generate component.
New component.
You want me to create a new file?
Create a new component, not file. I'm talking. We only talk in components, not files.
Okay.
You know, when you create a component, it creates 3 different files. One is HTML, one is
TS,
TypeScript,
and the Java.
and one CSS.
Oh,
It
what?
doesn't create a JavaScript file. JavaScript file is automatically generated when TypeScript is compiled.
What was it?
ng-gc component name.
NGGC.
Just think like ng generate component. Generate means
I remember. Yeah.
yeah, like that.
G
Even search
comma
also,
G space C. Yeah.
NG.
C and the component name. Automatically it creates 3 files, then you can play with that. And remember that the component app, whatever is the selector name which is there here on the top, that is what you need to use in the HTMLs to automatically load the whole component. Got it?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
so please try and let me know if you have any problem.